first scream wasn't loud enough to draw attention. It was muffled by concrete, distance, and a community conditioned to mind its business. It came from beneath the floorboards of an aging Victorian house perched, like a relic, on the corner of Lenox and Fairview. They said the house had character. They didn't know it also had secrets. Marcellus Owens knew, but no one believed Marcellus. At 17, Marcellus was the kind of kid people didn't see until they needed something. He worked late nights mopping the floors of Lincoln High, where he was also a senior. He took care of his younger sister, Mira, while their mother juggled 2 jobs. He was quiet, always scribbling in a notebook. Teachers said he had potential, but lacked focus. Students ignored him unless he corrected them in class, which made him easy to dislike. The man who made life unbearable for Marcellus was Principal Alan Greaves. Greaves wasn't just a principal. He was the school board's golden boy, a retired military man turned educator, respected by local politicians, feared by faculty, and adored by the press. He wore tailored suits, walked with straight back gait, and delivered speeches about discipline, tradition, and community. But behind closed doors, he was a different man, condescending, cool, and obsessed with control. He made a public example of Marcellus any chance he got. When Marcellus dozed off during an early morning assembly, Greaves halted his speech to shine a spotlight on him. Some of us sleep because we've earned rest. Others sleep through responsibility. Get up. The laughter that followed stung worse than the humiliation. Marcellus didn't cry. He didn't speak back. He just locked eyes with Greaves for a second longer than he should have. Watch the attitude, son, or it'll watch you. From that day, Greaves watched him. Every tardy mark, every misplaced paper, every time Marcellus slipped into school 5 minutes late after dropping off Mira. Greaves threatened detention, suspension, expulsion. He told the boy he was wasting his future and sullying the school's reputation. You want to be a ghost. Owens? Keep this up and you'll disappear. But Greaves made a mistake. He pushed too hard the day he intercepted a note from Marcellus's backpack. It wasn't a love letter or a cheat sheet. It was a detailed sketch of a floor plan, the interior layout of Greaves's house, down to measurements. It was the kind of thing only someone with architectural training or a very observant eye could draw. Care to explain this? Greaves asked, slamming the sketch on his desk. Marcellus met his gaze. You said I don't focus. That took focus. Greaves didn't laugh. Instead, he summoned Marcellus's mother, held a disciplinary meeting, and filed a formal warning for menacing behavior. Marcellus was told to stay away from the principal's home, which was odd, because Marcellus had never been to his house. Not once, but he had heard things. He had seen a girl cry behind a fence last summer, a girl who vanished the next day. He had watched neighbors cross the street rather than walk past Greaves's place. He had heard the rumors about the basement, how old man Greaves kept it locked, even from family, how construction workers hired years ago quit midway through a job without explanation. Something was off, and Marcellus, ignored as he was, had the time and silence to notice it. His sketch wasn't just art. It was evidence. It was memory. It was preparation. Because Marcellus had a secret. One he didn't even write in his notebooks. He had been under that house. It started with Myra's friend, Tasha. She was 11, loud and fearless. Until she wasn't. Until she came home from tutoring at Principal Greaves's house and stopped speaking for 2 whole days. When she finally whispered to Mira, Marcellus overheard one line. The floor moved. It wasn't carpet. It was people. Tasha disappeared a week later. Her mother said she ran away. The police closed case after 3 days. Marcellus didn't believe it. Couldn't. He started watching the house. At night, Greaves would walk his perimeter with military precision. Lights would flicker on and off at strange hours. Once, Marcellus swore he saw someone try to escape through the basement window, only to be dragged back. So one night, he followed the shadows. He crawled under the fence, used a discarded maintenance badge to disable the old side security gate, and slipped into the crawl space under the house. From there, he found a loose board and saw a light seeping through the cracks. And he heard it, breathing, movement, chains. It wasn't rats. It wasn't pipes. It was people. He didn't stay long. Just enough to record 30 seconds of audio. He ran home, hands trembling. He took it to the police. They said it wasn't conclusive. They said the audio was probably from a horror movie. They said Greaves was a decorated veteran, a pillar of the community. They said, you should be careful about spreading rumors. Marcellus realized something that night. To expose a monster protected by power, you had to become a ghost. So he stopped talking. He started planning. He waited for the annual school fundraiser. Greaves always opened his home for the event, turning the downstairs into a social showcase. Parents mingled. Politicians posed. Cameras flashed. But no one ever went upstairs. And no one ever entered the basement. Marcellus slipped in as part of the student cleanup crew. He had a stolen key, copied from Greaves' own lanyard weeks earlier. He had a flash drive loaded with camera feeds, linked to a hidden body cam under his shirt. And he had Mira outside with a burner phone. If I'm not out in 20 minutes, call the number on speed dial. Marcellus promised me. She promised. He descended the basement steps. What he found below rewrote the definition of horror. It wasn't just chains. It was cells. It was restraints. Medical equipment. A wall covered in names and photographs. Some of children he recognized. Some no longer alive. He raised his camera. Behind him, the door slammed shut. A voice echoed down the stairs. You should have stayed invisible. Greaves. He descended slowly, calmly, like a man who knew no one would question where Marcellus went. You're clever. I'll give you that. But clever doesn't mean safe. Marcellus stepped back. People will know. They'll see. No, they won't. They'll believe what I tell them. That you broke in. That you attacked me. That you were unstable. They'll believe it because I said so. Greaves lunged. But Marcellus was ready. He pulled the hidden taser from his sleeve and jammed it into Greaves' side. The man screamed, convulsed, collapsed. Marcellus stepped over him, hands shaking as he grabbed the flash drive from the hidden port he'd installed days earlier. He climbed the stairs, locked the door from the outside, and ran. By the time police arrived, Mira had already sent the footage to 5 news stations. Greaves was arrested. The community was shocked. Marcellus became a name they remembered. But just as the news crews began packing up, just as the applause began to fade, his phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. A familiar voice whispered. That wasn't the only house. To be continued in part 2.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Echoed Crime content. Thank you.